Welcome to Leap Taken. This is Mika, and here at Leap Taken, I talk about all things witchy, law of attraction, manifesting, esoteric, and everything else in between. So today, I do want to talk a little bit about spells. Kind of a broad conversation about spells, while I am kind of doing a little bit of spell work. So, see, it's a pretty pink candle here. I actually already put the energy into it. I put my little homemade stickers on here. It's just representing love. And when I say love, it's romantic love. Yes, it's also going to be love in general. Love for self. Maybe love for something in your life that you fell out of love with, not necessarily a person. But I have designated certain people in mind that I'm using this for, including myself. But there's basically it's kind of like a family all over type of candle spell that I'm going to be doing, and just give a little bit more energy, love energy, peace, and maybe even some passion um, amongst my family members. And again, this is not necessarily from a romantic point of view. This is more or less to do with everything for my kids who are adults to my husband and even to myself, to sort of just refresh that love of whatever, and to induce more passion as well. So that's what the intention was when I put it into this spell. Or into this candle. But what I would like to do, I have some lavender oil here and a handy dandy pen that I'm using just for the purposes of doing this. So I'm going to take and the candle, and I'm going to just poke some holes in it, and I'm just going to drop a little bit of this lavender essential oil in it. And I use lavender because for me, lavender just represents that peace aspect that I was talking about. The candle itself, the color that I use, is all about the love and the passion, but the peace aspect of it, because I don't want my thing is going off. I don't want complications around love. I don't want unrealistic. I don't want to say unrealistic. Just situations for either of us to be in that causes the love or the passion that we're going for causes us strife, causes us disease. It's not good love. I want the good love. So add a little piece of peace to it. So for me, three has always been a magical number for me. So I put three holes into the candle, just drill it in a little bit. Fun fact, when I really got into candle magic, I would put holes, like, using this type of candle, peace, peace, peace. When I would use this type of candle, I would drill in a number of, random numbers, things I didn't know any better. I didn't know. And, I would listen to others or what other people said, whether something I read or something I watched, and I was using, their methods. So that's not the end of the world, but, once you do learn better, you do better. So I now know three is a significant number for me. It has been my entire life. So that's why I'm using the three. So I'm gonna just go ahead and light the candle now. Ooh, or not, yeah. All right, come on. Give me my love. So mote it be, so it is done as I will it. Okay, so the candle is lit. So I'd like to go ahead and, just bring a little bit more positive energy. Again, already spelled the candle, so that's why I'm not doing anything more. I already said I've already put that energy into it. So I just wanted to add a little something on top of it, and obviously I light it. And I just said my little something, which I meant, I said it quickly, but I meant it, so mote it be, or as I will it, so it is done. I meant it. So that's done. The next here, this is a rose water incense. So incense stick. So I'm gonna like this. I have my sage here because I've been saging, honestly, very often lately. But I don't want to mix the two. It could be either one. So I want to go ahead and just do the rose because I think it's more fitting for the situation. For what we're doing right now, what I'm doing right now. Okay, so I'm just gonna gently move this forward before all the smoke gets in my face, and I get the coughing and hacking up, and Y'all sending well wishes. I got the coronavirus. So anyway, I kid. I know it's not funny. We shouldn't kid about that. But anyway, you gotta do something, right? But about spells. So you see how I just did that, and I'm talking to you. That doesn't mean my spell's gonna be less effective. That's what I wanted to talk about. Just because you're a little bit more lighthearted, just because you're kind of multitasking, if you feel confident in your work, it's that simple. It's kind of like when you get in the kitchen and you start cooking. A lot of us, for instance, a lot of us probably cooked on Easter, right? So you're cooking the family favorites. You know what everybody's coming for, or whoever's in the house, because we weren't supposed to gather. So you know what people are going to want. They're going to want their family favorites. So these are things. If you're the cook and you're the one who always makes the stuff, you already know how to cook this stuff. You already know how to throw down. So you're not going through, recipe books. You're not looking online. You're not talking to people. You know the deal. You already know how to do this. This is something you already know how to do. So there's no issue with you trying to figure the recipe out. So you get in there, you throw down, when to chop, how to prep, how long it takes, bam, boom, and you know it's gonna taste good. You know how the recipe's gonna turn out because you're familiar with it. Hence where I'm going with spells. Obviously, there can be more complexity. Honestly, there can be more complexity with the meal prep too. Let's just be real. If you're cooking something that has a lot of steps, there can be a lot of meal prep. I just want to break this smoke up a little bit. It's not bothering me yet. It's just my wings. I kind of like to see smoke scatter. Anyway, um, but yeah, I think that you can kind of take that same approach where you know what you're doing. You know how to throw down in the kitchen. Basically, you know how to throw down in the spell room. You know how to come to your altar, your working altar, and you know how to get it done. So it's basically that same approach. At this stage of the where I'm at in my witchcraft, I know how to get it done. I know prep is everything. Am I perfect? Do I do it all the time? Meh, no. Well, no, I'm not perfect, but and no, I don't get everything prepped every single time. But I did do these because I knew it would need to be done, and I did this a while ago. The energy is still there. So when you get things like essential oils, let's say I order these, it was in a set off of Amazon, right? First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get that box and I'm gonna bless that oil. I am a magical freaking being. I'm a magical vessel that energy can come through and be emitted out. So guess what? You can bless your oils. You can bless it. I'm not. Yes, if I want to call in ancestors for or petition them and ask them to add even more blessings and their favor, so to speak. Yeah, I could do that, but not but and I also have the capability to do it as well. I think sometimes we get a little confused and we mix up that other religion with these magical practices. And that other religion, you got to call on this God all the time to bless things and to make things okay. And I think sometimes people get confused when we start talking about ancestors and we talk about even spirit or certain deities. Anyway, I think the confusion is you don't need, first of all, you can practice witchcraft with none of that. For years, I did not include ancestors or a deity. Like, I was just me, just me. And my spells worked, and my witchcraft was still fulfilling. I felt like there was something more I should follow up on. Kind of like recently, I felt like I need to bring more masculine energy into my practice. Um, in a form of maybe contacting a specific, more masculine energy type of deity. So that's what I've been doing. And I'm patiently waiting for that energy to manifest into something that I recognize, oh, that's so and so, or, you know, you know, the energy is personifying whatever God, I'm choosing, or not choosing, but you know what I mean, that I recognize. Uh, and that hasn't happened yet. I'm still in the process. I'm still, balancing that out. I'm still receptive to the energy. I'm still kind of, we're still, doing this dance, this flirt, where, you show up a little bit, send a little message to me, some symbol signs here or there. You're keeping me interested and you're slowly bringing me in. I'm okay with it. I'm rolling with it. That's what I wanted, and I'm welcoming it because I feel like, okay, it's time. I think things happen in their own time and for a reason. But as far as the spells goes, I was able to just go ahead. I, had already put my energy into the candle. Um, I already believe that the incense. I don't usually do anything specific with incense when I buy them. I light them. I think they're, or I mean, depending on what you're buying, right? They're organic in nature, and I feel like they are coming with their own vibration. So all I have to do is light it. I could go, if I was making my own, then yeah, we'll probably do something more. But I'm comfortable with what I get from the store, and working with it straight out the box. Like I said, the essential oils, I bless my oils. With me, I am magical. I'm magical. I'm a witch. I do the blessing. There, I am my own goddess. Okay, it doesn't mean that I don't recognize and respect and revere any other goddesses, because I do have a connection. But that goddess energy is in me. Therefore, I can also bless my own oils. I can bless my candle. I can, do blessings. So we all can. By the way, if you're connected with that energy and you recognize who you are, I don't take my spell work lightly in a sense of like I I don't take it for granted. I should say there is some real magic happening here. As I'm talking to you and doing a video, that energy is being released, and it will manifest. It will be as I willed it to be in our lives. Because I said this is kind of a multi-purpose spell for my family, my immediate family. So spells again, a little bit more. So we already talked about, kind of not being so serious about it, but having some little respect on it. We talked about you don't have to, necessarily call in someone to work on a spell. So when you are in the kitchen, perhaps, because I'm going to be doing a video soon for some kitchen magic, and I'm going to be making something. I think that's a good time more for healing. But whenever I'm in the kitchen and I'm, just cooking family meals, family could just be me and my husband, by the way. In this case, me, my husband, and my daughter, because she's here. Whenever I'm making these meals, I always come with I'm very aware of my energy. Let me just start there. I'm aware of am I angry? Am I sad? If I'm on the phone and I'm talking, I'm very concerned about at the time that I'm in the meal prep stage and when I'm putting everything together, I want to make sure that my energy is not off, because I do believe that whether you mean to or not, you can put that like anxiety, especially now if I'm on the phone with my mom. If I'm talking to my mom is in the Northeast, where it's heavy hit right now. The COVID-19, it's where she's at. It's very close to her. So I am my whole family actually. So I'm very concerned about that. So if she calls me around mealtime, me doing meals here, the conversation could go into something that might be giving me low key anxiety. I'm cool with her, but inside I feel some kind of way because I'm nervous, about my mother. So, I need to be aware of that. So, and I am. So, what I'll do is in that moment, I become, okay, mental alchemy. Let me go ahead and be the alchemist that I know I am, and transmute this energy. It doesn't mean I'm just like abruptly cutting off in the conversation because I want to hear what she has to say or hear what she's trying to tell me. Uh, but I can guard my own energy and I can sort of close off a little bit or at least simmer that down and remember who I am and what I'm doing. And what I'm doing is I'm making this meal and I want my family to be safe. I want the ones that are here that I have, access to. I want them to be healthy. So I start thinking like that, all while still having this conversation with my mother about, whatever's going on up there, that could be making me upset. So energy, energy matters. Energy matters at the start of the spell, when you're gathering the materials, and after the spell. So right now, let's talk afterwards. So candles lit. You would think, oh, it's done. No, it's not done. First of all, this is a big candle, right? So it still has to burn. But as it burns, so does the energy go into the ethers as this incense continues to burn and that smoke fills the air. It is also bringing a certain vibration into my home, which will carry the energy of that candle out. This is how I'm thinking. These are my thoughts, right? Um, this is what I believe to be true. So it is. It is. This is how it works. This is how it's going to happen for me. So I'm in alignment with everything that I just did. As simple, as folksy as it looks, that's it. I put some cute little labels on it because love is, can be cute. It can be romantic. It can be, pink and black maybe, for passion, sexy, and all that sort of stuff. It's heart. So all that, I have little stickers on there to represent all those sort of things. It's just, something for me to focus on when I look at the candle. But ultimately, that energy I put in it is what matters, and the energy that I'm carrying as it burns, and then afterwards, as long as I want that spell to work, I need to still be on that energy. So that's where I'm at. So it will work. That's how that works. Um, I know even now, I'll be honest with you. Even now, there are times you do a spell, and it's like, dang, especially if it's something big, you kind of one. I deal with being impatient, so there's that part. But you want to believe it's gonna work, and listen, the better of us, we're really confident, we're really sure. But you have those moments, especially if it's something you never did before. You're kind of like, dang, let me see what's happening. Let me stand out. And it's not that you doubt it, but there's a moment of you're not you may be a little unsure and or unsure of the results. I wouldn't even say unsure of the spell that it's going to work, but unsure of the results. Is it going to work like you want it to work? Because you never did this type of spell work before. So cut yourself some slack if you're thinking like that. As long as you're not on the vibe that it's not going to work at all, or I wasted my time, I wasted my money buying this stuff. As long as you're not thinking stuff like that, or you keep asking when is it going to work? It's a day later, it's 2 days later, it's 3 days later, it's a week later. Depending on what you did that spell for, it might be an issue. Fun fact about if you did a spell and you put a time date on it, been there, done that. Let's say you put a time stamp on that spell. Usually it's money and love spells. I know there's people wanted to do that. You want a certain amount of money and you want it by Friday. So Friday comes, you did the spell, you say you believed it, you know, there was no money. So the spell didn't work. Um, Two ways of thinking about it. The spell didn't work is the first thought. Um, if you go with that, deconstruct why, troubleshoot your issue, be a customer service technician over the phone to yourself. Break down, what did I do? Yeah, was it the type of ingredients? What was the energy? Did I cleanse the space? Do I need to do a circle? Maybe I need to cast a circle before I do my spell work. Maybe there's some other energy. Do you live in a house with other people and their energy is sort of getting in the way of yours? Because even if they don't know what you're doing, they might be of the belief that you're not gonna have a certain amount of money or success. And these could be people you know and love. I don't think people mean to be so negative toward each other. A lot of it, I don't think they can help themselves. I'll be honest, I really don't think people mean to. But the energy is there. So it's the battle of the wills. And they believe strongly that you ain't shit. Let's just be honest. You got people's parents who believes their kids are not gonna be better than them. Siblings, cousins, aunties, and they really believe that about married people or people in relationships. They have an idea about you, and you are not supposed to surpass that idea because it makes them more comfortable. I'm just saying it happens. So that will is strong, and you have to just understand that you are fighting your spell work, your little sweet little spell that was nice and done just right, and you did everything right, and you believed in it. Did you believe as hard as they believe about you? They've had practice. As long as they've known you, they felt this way about you. So it's a battle of the wills. You got to keep that in mind. Um, Ultimately, ultimately get the hell away from people like that. That's one. But if you're not in a position to do that, right away, you're gonna need to now the spells you need to work on. And I know you probably got a money situation, you got stuff going on. You're gonna have to do some protection. You're gonna have to guard and shield. You're gonna have to get that, like, really fine tune that, so that you can come in and safely do your other magic. That's why I said maybe circle casting. That might be important for you to cast your spells. And I know that's more of a Wicca 101 thing, or just Wicca in general. A lot of people see it that way. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Don't disregard that. Um, you can also, create your own type of magical protection. If it's not a circle, fine. Draw symbols on the floor that represent protection for you, and or certain crystals, or create a crystal grid, anything that you feel comfortable with, to give that zone a protective barrier so that you can do your spell work in relative solitude and peace, and that energy is blocked out, and the only thing energy that you can bring in is that you call on the energy that you're asking to call on, and otherwise energy goes out and you protected it. So you're going to want to do multi-layered spells more often than not. You're always doing something, probably low key, a banishing spell, and then whatever the spell is you're trying to do at the same time. You're going to have to constantly keep banishing. Jewelry that you've spelled with protective magic. You're walking around with crystals on, because you have to do this, because especially if it's more than one person. Some people live with whole families who kind of are really negative. So yeah, you're not just dealing with one person, you're dealing with several. Or if you're dealing with one person, but this one person knows you. They know your weaknesses. They know all about you. And they have an idea that you just aren't worth more than what you're doing, or you can't surpass them, or whatever the situation is. You're gonna have to protect yourself against that person, especially if you're gonna stay in a relationship with them. People change. I know they say people don't change. People have their own awakening. Sometimes it takes death, sickness, or you maybe actually really, you know, preparing to leave, or look like you're really leaving because you're sick of it, and they might change their tune. And you have some stubborn people who they're gonna be the way they're gonna be no matter what. So protect yourself. Use magic that way first, and then do the other stuff, because that's gonna be important for you. The other thing I just want to talk about spells, as far as the win. Do you need to do a spell for everything? I mean, if you practice magic, you call yourself a witch. Why aren't you doing spells for everything? Make a spell to turn the TV on. Well, we have remote, so I don't need to. Make a spell to conjure up dinner really quickly. Well, if it's already prepped, I have a microwave and an oven, so that does that part for me. I even have a Ninja Foodie, so I can steam and pressure cook and make things really quick. So there's technology to do that. Oh well, how come you can't win the lottery? Do that, um, because I am fighting the wills of millions of people. I feel pretty strong about it, but sis next door feels even stronger, if not, or we're the same. So now it's up to the fates. It's up to the fates. Maybe we all win, but we win $2. There's a lot of other energy out there that you're trying to wade through, and it's thick. If I'm over here wanting love for my family, I want them to have passion about their careers, about their lives, about the people in their lives. For myself and for my husband, I'm putting that energy out into the world. Me, just me, I'm putting that out. It's very important that they're receptive to emitting love and receiving love. If I'm doing all this and my husband is not, he's let's say he's stressed, and he's not making room for that, and the rest of my family, they're having, my daughter becomes very passionate about, whatever project she's working on, and my son meets somebody, and that develops into a relationship, regardless of how that relationship ends. That's not what this is about. The point is, he meets somebody and he really likes them, and it seems like it's great. My daughter's really thriving in her project that she's working on, but my husband, let's say, is not doing any of those things as far as passion and love, because he's stressed. He's closed off. doesn't mean my spell didn't work. Doesn't mean that it's not going to work. Basically, I just the blockage needs to be removed. Um, as far as how long it will take in that type of situation, because I'm talking about the timing now, the when part, that's complicated. It has a lot to do with what type of spell you did, and how you worded your spell, the intentions you put in it. It might never work depending on how I did the spell, or it might work. It really does just depend. Um, so that all that's just something to keep in mind. And I don't want to make a super long video, but I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about spells. But hopefully you got something out of this. I just kind of wanted to touch on all of those things and kind of give you an idea, a little bit more overview of spells. It's we're all gonna have our flair and do it differently, but if it works, that's really all that matters, right? Well, thank you for watching. Again, I'm Mika. This is Leap Taken. Please like the video if you've enjoyed it, and go ahead and subscribe if you have not already. And if you have subscribed, I really appreciate it, and thank you very much. All right, bye.